Hey everybody, welcome to another Zendikar Rising draft here on Going Optimal. We're going to jump into a premiere draft here. I asked chat what they wanted to do today, and this was it. And I'm in. We're enjoying the format. I was talking before I flipped into my YouTube mode that I'm really enjoying the kicker aspect. I think there's a lot of mana spend going on, and you're just doing and spending a lot in this format, and I think that's one of the reasons it feels so good. I just feel like I'm never out of things to do, and I think that's a valuable experience in a limited Magic game. And if you never want to be out of things to do on your physical tabletop Magic game, Card Kingdom is your friend, because they're going to give you cards and boosters and supplies and everything you need to keep the magic of Magic going in your home game, I assume right now, and eventually back in the shops, we hope. They have everything you could need, and really great for tinkering on Magic projects. You know, I'm a big Magic project guy. You know, I have a couple of cubes. At one point, I had so much card access at Wizards, I was making a modern gauntlet. I had several modern decks that I would bash into each other, but I would always have Card Kingdom on my radar, because when you have those Magic projects, you always got little upgrades you want, little bling upgrades, little card power upgrades. So I'd love to get that card for this deck. Well, Card Kingdom's got it, and if they don't, you can wish list it, and they'll let you know when they have it. And you know, if they don't have it, they're also looking to buy it. They got one of the best buy lists in the industry. They will pay top dollar for your Magic cards. So if you're looking to flip cardboard into cash or cardboard into fresh cardboard, you're doing it wrong if you don't at least put Card Kingdom on your menu of options when considering those types of transactions. Thank you so much for all your support, Card Kingdom. We're going to jump in here. And I'm also going to remind you that we got a Streamer Showdown event coming up. This is my practice draft for that, really. I'm going to be 3 p.m. November 5th Pacific time. I will be battling against 7 other streamers in an offline, I keep saying that, it's not offline, in an out-of-client draft on mtgadraft.herokuapp.com. We're going to enjoy that. I'll flip to draft view here now. Kaladesh is high synergy and very fiddly. A lot of modal choices in the core mechanics. Which is to say, you know, a lot of commons are saying, do you want A or B, A or B, A or B? A lot of A or B on all these cards. Well, interesting. We start with 3 white creatures. If we were to start with one of those creatures, I think actually probably the Fledgling is best, but Blade Master is clearly a good build around. We've seen that work decently against us. We could start on Into the Royal, though, and take a piece of my favorite color to start with in the format, and cut that a little bit. What is this plan? The Rebirth. This is fine, but I would rather start with a Royal than a Rebirth. And this Archon is also fine. At its baseline as a 2/3 flyer for 3, you're improving on kind of an average common rate with this, but it's not the not more than 1 spell each turn, and the non-basic, that affects both of you. And then the non-basic doesn't do too much, because most of the non-basics enter tapped anyway. So I'm going to start with one of my favorite commons in the set. Take the Into the Royal and see where we go from here. Now we could follow with a Bubble Snare if we want to stay on color and on theme, Kicker. It's also on theme, Interaction, removal. The Shepherd is great, a great cleric. Kargan Intimidator. Red-blue is great, but it tends to be a wizard deck. That doesn't mean the Intimidator wouldn't play in such a deck. It just means it's not necessarily the ideal partner here. Yeah, this could be a Roost missing. That's true. Hazard might be the better red card over the Intimidator. I don't know. Any thoughts here? These are... I'm on Snare, Intimidator, or Hazard, and I'm trying to figure out which one here. The Feed the Swarm is interesting too, but I'd rather just take an on-color interaction. Yeah, Intimidator is pretty great, but it's not a Windmill Slam bomb. All right, I'll stay blue. I'm in the stay blue camp. The Intimidator is a very good card, but so is Bubble Snare, and it's on color. I like staying on color there. I think that's a reasonable line. You take a Vision here. Feed the Swarm and Vanquish are probably better in the abstract, but the Spland factor is real, and the 2 blue cards is real, and the cutting is real. But so are these enough better than the Vision to take it? This might even wheel. Like, people are coming down on these pretty far. So, and this one is so specific. You really need to be finding stuff with it. So yeah, maybe we do take Feed, and maybe it becomes a good sign if we wheel this Vision. But I'm preferring first Feed over first Vanquish. It's cheaper and it gets everything, and with a cost, but it's the universal nature of this makes it more valuable to me as a first removal spell than Vanquish, which is probably not where I would have been at the beginning of the format, I don't think. So Shadow Stinger with generic blue removal and black removal here is a really interesting pickup, because we may wheel one of these two and find ourselves in a rogue deck here. And really, the only thing I'm looking at outside of that would be a Hellion. Of course, we got a Spland. You can always take one of those and not feel awful about it. But this is a nice little sign here, right? So let's take that and see if we can end up... Whoa, talk about nice little signs. I mean, we could just keep going, but what is this Royal Eruption doing here? Please explain, somebody. Wow. I think we have to draft the hard way and take the Eruption. But Field Research, Subtle Strike, and Dancer are all very appealing cards that I'd be happy to take. So we're not going to pass this, but we're going to say, oops, well, now we're drafting the hard way and also creating some weird downstream signals, but we're going to draft the power card here. Now, Disruption, again, also not amazing, but I think is the pick here. Some Splans aren't amazing, but they're still fine. If we take Anti-Cog, we could be heading towards it with the Stinger. I haven't really seen any other great red cards. We've seen red cards, but not great red cards. I'm on Grasp or Anti-Cog. Blight Priest is interesting, but I think we're pretty far away from making this any kind of decent. Yeah, I'll take Grasp. I think if we do find that red is open, we will be happy to be in the spell range, you know? If we follow this Royal Eruption somewhere. We're not following much of this anywhere, but there's a Core Celebrant still here, so maybe I'm supposed to take that, and maybe we're supposed to even be prepared to bail into Clerics if truly nobody wants it. So I'm gonna take this. Yeah, I didn't think we were really. Yeah, I just didn't feel like we could end up there. But the Celebrant coming around makes me question that assumption. So we should take it and see. Duelist is okay, but we're gonna take a Rebirth. That would go in our Rogues deck. It would go in a Celebrant, in a Cleric deck. So this goes in any black deck we would end up playing. And nothing else here is really good enough to worry about. This is the one thing we're not is green, although now watch us open Vine Gecko or whatever and make me just really sad. But Felidar probably good enough to take here in case of Cleric deck. One of the things that can happen if you do get into a color like white, where we're at way late in pack 1 and we don't have a lot of playables for it yet, is that you have a strong top end but a pretty weak low end. Your worst cards are pretty bad. So it's okay to pick up these Felidars in this type of situation, because even though it's fallen in my ranking in the format, you know, it's playable. And, you know, like same with the Outrider. Like if we get backed in, and we could take Hellion on that front too. Like maybe Hellion is with the Royal Eruption is better than Outrider with the Celebrant. So I'm going to take Hellion here. Super drafting the hard way to the point that here, now we take a Pickaxe. No, I'll take Murasa's more playable than Pickaxe. I know this is Vault Progress and we're not playing green, but I'm going to still just take the best card. But this is kind of a this looks like we randomly opened a pack and skipped the first round. We'll just open a booster and call it our first pack. So not a ton of power here, and obviously all over the place. But and this is kind of gross, right? This is a really weak pack. Yeah, I think we're actually taking Zoff, which I really. This is now the kind of thing I want to be taking a little later than this. So like maybe we can take a sneak. We probably wheel the sneak in the. Yeah, Raptor is interesting. I guess I could. You can make an argument for Raptor. I still think of white as something we're not likely to be, but maybe we are. Yeah, I suppose we could. That's fair. I don't see us ending up in red-black, but this is a weak pack. We can continue drafting the hard way with it, sure. I just don't think it's even that great when you're doing the thing. There's just nothing much there, so I don't really mind that grab. Here we can take Alliance over Coveted Prize over Falconer. Falconer is good, and if we end up in blue, that would be fine, but let's take the Alliance. Looking for our lane. Help us find our lane. Acquisitions Expert could keep us on rogues and is pretty powerful. Falconer here, though, again, available to us. Suggests blue is openish to the left, or at least to the very immediate left. I think I'm on Falconer. I was looking for red. I was ready for red. Like if we got hit with a Royal Eruption in this range of packs, I would be all over it. But it doesn't look like the red is hitting us. So I'm going to go ahead and take Falconer narrowly over Expert. Generically good Mind Drain, Gloom Hunter, and a Disruption. I think I want first Gloom Hunter over first Mind Drain or second Disruption. And none of the non-Dimir cards in here make me want to move off of that direction. All right, well, we're not there. Hello, old friend. We can grab a Veil, decent spell land. We can just take one of these, though. I think I probably just want to field research. Agree. Get one of these researches in the game. Veil is nice. We got a grasp already, so I think I'm going to go with yeah, it's Veil or research, but I'm not. I really want one research. I'm going to take research partly because we've drafted the hard way so hard we may be playable short, and in that case, I would rather have the great actual spell rather than the medium spell on a land. On that front, Mystic is somewhat interesting, but we're pretty far from the red plan here. Probably just want to get even something like a Deliberate that would make any deck, but I guess if we're black-blue, we can be leaning rogues and take the... Yeah, I'll take the first Duelist over a Deliberate. And I'm going to leave the Royal on a chance of splash, but I'm going to cut the white and other red. And of course now, right now now the red starts being a signal. Maybe the pack two packs to our left just didn't have good red. Really, Fenor? Well, I took too long. I didn't see the clock really. I shouldn't have let that clock run down. We can take a priest here though. Diviner's also okay in these types of decks, but Priest 2-drop, it's good. I'll play a Drain if we get there. Here we have the Duelist and a Sneak. I feel like duelists have diminishing returns. You like up to 4 of them, huh? I would want 1 to 2 in a rogue deck right now, but maybe I'm wrong about that. I'm taking sneak here, though. We have 1 duelist. I want first sneak over second duelist. Again, I don't know. Maybe I'm doing it wrong, and but I feel like I haven't been wrecked by the heavy multi-duelist deck. I don't think we're running this. Well, here's another sneak, so maybe I would wish a second duelist, but I believe we'll get those anyway. We could also take a shell shield, blue cleric, but we can get clerics in black if we want. I'm just gonna take another sneak. Nothing here matters. That's... keep it in as something to consider. Relic Robber, if we'd ended up down the red path, would have been a fun rare to open. And we still do have a handful, but I still don't think we... Well, I don't know. You could even argue that well, Bubble Snare is probably good enough to stay blue, but we could, you know, Hellion and Mace could be brought in to be added to Royal Eruption and Double Catcher, and Relic Robber, sorry. But I think another snare is fine. We're going to take it. Another Deadly Alliance. Wouldn't mind this wizard, but we're going to just take removal, especially with card draw. I mean, that's just the bread and butter of a classic limited Dimir deck, is that it's removal and card draw, so you win the attrition battle. I haven't even had the opportunity to play Guide for a while. Maybe in Red Black Party it's playable, but I just even haven't had that choice to make in a long time. We could take this land. It's half on color, which would allow for a white splash if one came our way. There's nothing here I want to like. I mean, this cleric's gonna wheel. I'm gonna take, and also this is rare drafting. You know, you could do worse than getting some gems out of it too. We'll have a low mage domination though. Huzzah. Shadow's Verdict might even be playable, although I think maybe we just want a Sky Dancer to continue our own angle. It's tempting to get this because this is like a type of effect that's not... There's not many sweepers. There's like the really expensive white one, and there's the red Pyroclasm at uncommon. So there's a temptation to get something that's unique in its effect, but we're also, as a rogue deck, trading in very small creatures in general. So, well, now we have this opportunity for a duelist that people are liking, but I think we got to take a Royal Mage with all the removal we've got. This is just all part of the plan of, you know, yes, we have rogues, but our plan is... Our plan isn't really rogues as much as it is blue-black value. Are we ever playing Kite Sail or Negate? I don't think so. So I'm going to take a Frustration. I know we're not Jinx, but we're also not playing Negate or Kite Sail. So whatever. I'm going to punish the red drafter in the draft and not give him that card. I'm mean that way. But you're right. We're not splashing these. I don't know why eruptions are going late here, but with another bug catcher, I practically do want to move back into red-black. I mean, you could do it and have an alternative here. As it is, though, I'm going to take a Deliberate. It's not exciting, but we're in fine playables mode. Yeah, look, we could have just pivoted, and I think we could have made red-black in the last pack alone. If we had just closed our eyes and picked nothing but red cards this pack, it would have been all right. Yeah. Easy to say, but pack 2 did not deliver us a lot of red, and so I don't know. Hindsight. I'm in blue black. I'm not putting red cards in my deck, so I don't think it matters anymore. This might be more playable than, but I don't think either of those are playable. Sentinel, we didn't get counter stuff thrown around. Yeah, we get splashed with that. 20 on the grind today. Let me put that in before I forget. I think if you move into red in the last pack there and eschew the cleanly good blue that was there, it's high risk. It would have paid off there, but I don't have regrets really, because we didn't know what those packs were even gonna look like. And we still didn't really understand what the table felt about red. The red signals were not super clear to me. If they were clear to you and you would have moved in, I think you would have had a pretty sweet payoff in the third pack. But I'm pretty okay with how that actually played out. Didn't do my homework yesterday. I'm behind on my entry. But today, I'm doing it. And we're going to be blue-black. We paid 1,500 gems, and we ground 20. So, well, we even got a Tempest we could throw in here if we felt we needed it, but it doesn't even look like we need it. I think we have just a medium, which for me it feels bad. Let's say medium rare Dimir control deck here, you know. But it's got good cards in it. It's got card draw. These are the types of decks where you can be like, ugh, this does not look great. But then the combination of just these, let me get out of your way. Like, Royal and Royal Mage and Feed and Field Research. Like, this is really our deck. And we can run this. I suppose it's probably slightly worse to run it than not, because there are some non-basic land hosers, but there is the value of fronting a splash that doesn't exist. Anyway, that's exactly what the rare we passed, Jinx. Like, are you saying, like, what's going to occur more often, Jinx? An opponent sees the white side of your pathway and makes a play error because they see that you have a white source, or your opponent plays that rare white flyer and you have this pathway when you need untapped land, right? It's like, it's so minor. We're talking about the slimmest of things, but if we're going to talk about it, I think the slimmer thing more likely to happen is you actually run into that rare flyer, because it's totally playable, right? Yeah, Myriad Construct. There you go. You added a second one. Gedanmore adds a second one. Now it's clear that we have to cut it. Fenrir is on it too. So it was narrow when it was 1. Now it's a blowout. Now it's a 2 for 1. All right. Anyway, back to my main point. I know this deck, excuse me, Freudian. This deck is not sexy, but I went deck into, anyway, you got me. What wins us is this: the Into the Royal Mage, Feed the Swarm, Field Research, Deadly Alliance, Lol Mage's Domination, Royal Mage getting back the domination. So this is not some great rogues deck. This is not even a rogues deck. It has some rogues in it. But the fundamental thing our deck is doing are these cards right here. Everything else is whatever. Like we can cut. Now let's take, before we make cuts, let's see our numbers. Like we only have 12 creatures. So I don't like this cleric at all, but we should cut like deliberate number 1 for sure. And blight needs to go. And these obviously stay, but are more 4s. If we're not cutting creatures, I probably just cut the other deliberate. And we count on this stuff. I really don't want to play this Royal Mage. Like one thing I'm sad we didn't get here is Raise Dead. The kicker Raise Dead would be great to get, because then you can do the Royal Mage stuff, abuse the Royal Mage. So yeah, if we can squeak out of here with a few wins, I'll be happy. This isn't a great deck by any stretch, but it's not miserable. 17, 18, 19. I do like 19 with the 2 spell lands. We have Domination. We want to go long. We want to kick the Sentinel. So yeah, Blood Beckoning. I can never remember that card name. This is why I'd be so bad at coverage. I think I could actually, if you gave me the job of coverage, I could study the cards and memorize the names and learn it. But my inherent ability to remember Magic card names is not great. That's true. I was saying no cut creatures. We could just bring in another creature. What do you want to cut for it though, Jinx? One of the land. We could go to 18 with 2 splans because these aren't even that great anyway. Maybe I can be a little greedy. Do that. Yeah, I like that. I think this is worth running. This is exactly what I'm talking about. I made the point about the Prowling Felidar, but really it carries to things like Living Tempest too. We drafted the hard way. We're going to have some rough ads. Yeah, I don't want to cut creatures at all though. We're at 13 even with adding the Tempest, and I feel much better about that. So I think I like this. And oh, you think we're on the wrong? Well, we need to double black to kick that. We want Blood Priest on 2. We want these on 3. I think we're pretty even. I think this is correct split. Interesting point, counterpoint from Fenor. That we may, in fact, steal things that have white activated abilities. Is there any of them besides the Attended Healer? This is the stream where we take a look, 99.4% isn't refined enough. We're trying to figure out if it's 99.46 or 45. So, well, Radiantware. And Jinx makes a good counterpoint to the counterpoint that we have 2 clerics, so we have Blood Priest and Chill. Yeah. Let's name this and play. I'm going to switch these lands out. They're kind of cool, and I love that you all earned them by beating me 5-2 in the Gauntlet, but I really don't like how they play on the battlefield. They don't look good. Those old frames don't communicate color, and it's an important communication. Anybody want to claim it, or is it dealer's choice here? Is your last chance? Let's look at ZNR lands. I think we'll do that. Let's go Burly ZNR. Oh, I guess Burly didn't do a blue one. I love this blue land though. Sentinel on the box. All right. Oh, good. I'm already on it for Timnos. No, but Radiant, there is something wrong with playing the land. So I don't know. Did you miss that earlier part of the conversation? I mean, we are balancing it against the downside of running into the 2 rares that punish opponents for having non-basics. There's the 2/3 flyer for 2 and a white that would cause this to enter tapped. And there's the 4 mana construct that if they kick it is going to make that construct bigger. So the construct shows up in any deck. It's a high pick and is played in all of them. And the flyer should be played in any white deck. It's not, So I really do think that the downsides of those rares are still, to me, a little more scary than the upside of stealing a white activated creature. Yeah, it is somewhat real. Initially that was the value we were talking about. That was the value we were talking about, but I don't think that value is very high at all. I am going to, yeah, exactly. That Fenor, like I say, around here we argue the edge cases with respect. So, Black Ice. I don't want to. That's good, but spoilery. Something about attrition or classic Dimir or control. Maybe something about control is probably good. Control group. Because it's just a random pile of control cards, so it's a control group. Hey, look, I used pile the same way you did, Jinx. But to be fair, Jinx, you also predicted yesterday we would go 0-3 or 1-2 at best. So you called it a pile in 2 ways. You called it a pile that was a pile. All right, should we par pull this one? See how much of a pile it is? How much of a pile is this pile of control cards? Pretty blah. But we have a Stinger on 3 with almost anything and then 2 Deadly Alliance. We're just so far away from Lil Mage's domination that it's a mulligan for quite a while here. This would give us quite a while, though. Still, this might even be too slow, especially if they remove the Stinger and we don't find a 5th land. Then we're staring at 4 mana and alliances, right? So I think we got a mulligan. We can keep this, though. And I think we ditch a swamp here. Do we? Yeah, I think we do. Because I can play a swamp here, and we're on the draw. And I can still play a swamp. If we find a land, then we get to try and use the disruption. Well, yeah, I'm gonna play a swamp and really hope we find another land here. Because then if we do, we know we get the field research. Yeah, see, this would have been a great time for basic. It would have made things super clear. And then we could have dropped the island and actually used the disruption as a counterspell. And then it would have been free and clear to do that. It may still be correct. I think... What do you think? How greedy should we be here? Island, hold up disruption, or just play the disruption as land and... guarantee that we at least get to field research next turn. Marshall would play the island, I'm pretty sure. All right. This is for you, Marshall. This is for you, Marshall. This is for you, Marshall. Thank you, Marshall. Love you, brother. We are punished. Check it out. We got the domination. I love you, chat. You told us, yes. You called out the possibility. You indeed called out the possibility, or somebody did. Do we want sneak or vamp? I guess vamp hits harder, and they both threaten the healer, right? We could feed this right away if we're worried about that, but I'm kind of into getting on board. All right, well, they got to counter it because we didn't kill it right away. Now we can... I'm going to feed this healer now, though. I'm not going to get any more tokens to deal with. Yeah, we can even let the angel attack, potentially, and bubble it next turn for 1. We have no kicker benefits or anything. We're going to attack. We're not blocking an angel, so... And if they want to trade, of course, we'd be happy with that. Violent. It's a very viable strategy, though. Yeah, right. Good thing this is all gone. Still want more land, then we can snare for blue and still drop a sneak. Or hold up and kicked royal, that'd be great. And we want to try and steal the cleric. We don't have much life gain per se, but hopefully we can yank that with a domination. Maybe we'll let it get big and then we'll steal it. But this has sacrifice, right? So we can only steal it. That's something to keep in mind. We need to cast this when they are tapped out or they get to sack it. So actually, as much as I do want to bubble this heroes, if we draw a basic land, I think we just steal the cleric while the getting's good. We did not. Sure would love to kick that down the road. I think bubble snare on Shepherd plus royal up is the play. I mean, our only other choice is play the sneak and take another 3. I guess we could do that. But then, yeah, we still get to hold up interaction if we do that. So let's go ahead and snare for unkicked. This also does set him up to just draw with the, sack it with the vial. But that was, that's the power of this card, right? They put it in their deck and they get to use it for good things. But we'll say... Yeah, we'll leave Vampire back since our life total is low. If they go for if I hate leaving stuff like the Vamp back, though, because just so often Oppo has removal, and then you've tried to use a creature as removal and end up doing more nothing. Another Blight Priest. We were talking about how good it was we broke up this engine. Well, this engine has returned. But now I do want to steal the cleric. In 5 hours from now. Ugh. Not the plan. But we can play sneak and still... We can even... I could play Stinger, keep up an island, and threaten the duelist. And maybe that would scare off further attacks. But I think we just drop sneak. I'm just going to drop sneak and pass. If we put up a nice wall here, I think they'll keep trying to grow the cleric, and we can steal it when we find the mana for it. Need to get to 2 more mana, then we can Royal Mage back, feed the Swarm, and take care of the Blight Priest if we do it in time so that the life loss doesn't kill us. That's what I mean, though. Using creatures as removal can lead to that kind of thing. But it looks like we'll keep the cleric at bay for 1 more turn at least. Well. Now we got to alliance the Shepherd. I think we just keep losing to this is what I'm worried about, but we can't really take the damage in the air here. And we don't want to bounce it. It'll just come back down and trigger everything again. Yeah, that's going to trigger it. So maybe I need to do it on their turn. Yeah. I think we got to kill the Blight Priest. Yeah, this is a great cleric deck, and we've got a very medium control deck. So, no, I was thinking of waiting. I was going to wait to kill the Shepherd because the reason to wait is because when things die, they put a counter on, or is it their turn? It was first time on your turn. Each turn. So if we let them gain life on this turn, the cleric gets bigger. If we do it on their upkeep, the cleric only gets bigger once on their turn. Yeah, they can sack, that's true. I had to decide, but basically you see what I'm saying, right? I'm out of hourglasses, but you can see my conundrum there, right? But now we kind of have to chump the cleric. But maybe it'll get to a 6/6 and we can steal it and not be dead. Yeah, I suppose it doesn't change the chump, and maybe we actually actively want it to get bigger. Since we're chumping no matter what, we don't mind it getting the extra counter because then maybe it becomes a 6/6 for us. Still, I think we are deeply behind here, and I don't really know if we have... I don't have a good plan to win this game. I'm just kind of playing cards that come and hope that, that they're enough, but... Well, there's our land. Of course, it classically comes when it just all feels a bit too late. So now we steal. Yeah, we're just dead. If we go for the domination of the cleric, we can do it. But then all they do is sack and kill a creature, the shepherd, and then we're just dead to the to that. So I think we have no outs unless there's something involving an unkicked royal and the stinger. Yeah, I don't see anything, so we're gonna let it say tip the cap to a great deck there. Good deck, Oppo. No, we can't. Oh, I didn't check graveyard count. I don't think we had. I don't think they had 8 in the yard though, so I don't think we could get any kind of discount. And we could cast 2 creatures, but that's still not enough. Yeah, what does that get us, Mr. Goat Pig? Like, we can 2 spell, but does it keep us alive? I think with their ability to respond to anything we do by sacking our target. Yeah, that's as Jinx points out. We couldn't even steal anything. We would just be using it as removal, which is a reasonable use, but it wasn't going to save us the game there. Yeah, I had no... Even if we could find a way to the next turn, we had nothing in the deck that was going to allow us to overcome that situation. But note, like, the bad 5-mana black sweeper that we didn't take, I think correctly, would have been like an out in that game. That's why you consider those types of cards. They just have a unique effect. It wouldn't have gotten the flyers, though, so I think we still would have died to the flyer. All right, we can keep this. Not going to get greedy with the priest unless we find another 2-drop. We'll run it out there. Gonna attack with the priest, and we can play the sentinel with the intention of blocking, or surprise him with the Sky Dancer and block. Do we want... I'm with Jinx. I think we just play the sentinel and then try to trade it off. That's fine. That's his job. It's trading down here. You know, trading a 3 mana for 2 mana is not the great, but Bug Catcher is great, so you're willing to do it in those spots. And Oppo isn't. There you go. Let's keep maxing our mana here and hope we have another basic land off the top for the Falconer. We offering the Blood Priest? Yeah. Should have attacked before playing the sneak, but I don't care. Whatever. Here's the priest. You want it? Of course they don't. Well, that's pretty good. Really want a basic land now because it at least gives us a block on Zagras here. Actually, we have a block with Sky Dancer. So if we don't find a land, we can flash in the Sky Dancer and double block. Are we willing to trade Skitter Sneak for the Bug Catcher? Curious they didn't send the Electromancer. I would think they would be happy to trade any of their creatures for any of ours. I'm just trying to figure out, yeah, Bug Catcher on Sneak. We're at 21. I'm going to take it. And maybe even Bubble Snare the Catcher and then have the Sky Dancer. Although it'll be telegraphed because they'll wonder why I didn't just snare the Zagras. Of course, it has a static ability that would partially explain it. But rather than use the Bubble Snare here, I would prefer surprising with the Sky Dancer. I don't want a Bubble Zag. I want to try and kill it. I don't want all their creatures to have Death Touch for the rest of the game. And I can still send the... Oh, I can send the priest on the still willing to trade it plan. That does mean another spot of the Bug Catcher, though. I'll leave it back to trade with the Bug Catcher, although it tramples, so even that's going to be pretty hard hitting. But at the same time, are we blocking these Death Touchers? Yeah, there is no good blocker with Death Touch and Trample, right? So, then, yeah, I'm going to say no attacks. This could still go poorly. Skydancer or Sentinel could be killed at instant speed to stop the plan. And even if it goes well, we're 2-for-1ing ourselves. Here's hoping we get to 2-for-1 ourselves with Zagras instead of their removal spell. Like, that's our big hope. So that's a good start. They're playing black, though, so I doubt this is the last time we've seen Zagras this game. Or if it is, we're lucky. Hopefully, Zagras stays dead, but I don't count on it against black. Disruption, not a bad tool to have for that potentiality. But I think we just kick Bubble Snare the Hellion here. And, yeah, and play this as land. I agree. Let's do all of those things. Definitely could send the Blood Priest. If we send Skitter Sneak, it's a 1-for-1, and I don't want to do that. So we're going to offer the Blood Priest, though. Now, this is screaming of a trick, right? But I like getting the trick out of them before we drop a Falconer, which is a much more valuable 4/4. So let's try and get their tricks out and hope that these take over. Well, that's a pretty good one. I was hoping it was just it's still kind of a it was still a 1-for-1. That's all right. Now we go Falconer and hope this holds. Now I'm going to stay back on D with the Blood Priest, though. Two toughness creatures are what they have to attack with, so I want to protect my life total with them. Yeah, Yard is at 4. So pretty far away from getting a discount here, but not impossible depending on how the game plays. We're not going to risk our Falconer at 8. We will put a Blood Priest on their most powerful creature, though. Although this is more stealable than this one. You can make an argument to block over here and be prepared to steal this, but I think we just have Shadow Stinger to come down and threaten this anyway, threaten blocking that. So I'm going to go for the biggest, the most damage here. All right, snare. We could snare the Thunder Mage and just drop a stinger. Yeah, Royal Eruption has us at a virtual 1. But we also have to keep playing. I mean, we could... well, if we bubble, then we're leaving up the Silencer, and we're not really going to steal it anytime soon. So at that point, we are just hoping that the Stinger and the Silencer successfully bounce off each other for the rest of the game. And maybe that's what we need to do. All right. Now we get to attack, and attacking is good. We are up against it. There's some sequences that could just lose us the game pretty quickly here. Oh, CB might be wonky, but here I've interacted with it. Sometimes that does everything you need. Let me know how that's working. I've lost my entire... I did one of those maneuvers where everything on my screen just decided to minimize. Thanks. All right, what do we get? Oh, hello. That's good. Do you want to grasp on upkeep? Probably doesn't matter against red-black, right? Don't mess with me, fool. I'll do it. I'll trust chat. Well, that happens. Oh, I should have grasped first. Then we had the could have had rebirth. That was didn't really think that we had an out to removal to consider, but we did. Royal? Hang on. All right, so now with this at 8, we effectively have 3 mana extra here, so we can steal a 5 CMC as observed. Unfortunately, the silencer is 6, but we can we can rebirth as land. Although we may want to rebirth as since it comes in back tapped, it doesn't actually even save it. It doesn't even allow us to come back with defense. So we still need our creature to survive. And we still need to attack. So we're really crossing the fingers here. No, I'm saying if we play this if we hold this as a spell, well, it doesn't matter anyway. We only have 1 black, so I can't cast the Skitter Sneak and cast the Rebirth anyway. I'm gonna start with an attack. We're dead to removal, but we can't beat it, so we're not gonna. Scott, you say no attack. How do we? What's our plan to win then, Scott? I feel like maybe I'm wrong and you've got a plan to win. I'm close to out of time here. I'm going to do what I think is correct, which is set up to potentially win next turn if Oppo doesn't have removal. But yes, we may lose to a removal spell right here. Or Zoth. There you go. I think we played the best we could. Or I played the best I could. I don't know if it was the best possible, but I'm not disappointed with that game in terms of decisions. One decision, if I should have done the grasp and remembered that I have responses in my deck. So rather than letting anything happen to stuff in my creatures, I should have done the grasp to at least draw a card. That's where I'm disappointed in that game a little bit. Disappointed that this is 0-2. I'm not happy. I don't think this deck is great, but I do expect to basically get some wins with any pile I manage to cobble together. So we'll see if we can make that happen here with this cobbled together collection of reasonable cards, but very low synergy for the format. Extremely low synergy. And it's a pretty high synergy format. The trouble with the Rebirth Oppo needs 2 removal is that... Or are you talking about if I had pulled it? I don't know. As a defender, if they go to kill my defender and I use Rebirth on it, it enters tapped, so it can't save a defense. Your defense is still down. But maybe that's not what you're talking about. Well, they're looking for somebody bad enough to play me. Yeah, we had the life, though. I think it would have been worth 2 life to save that creature, because then that creature saves a lot more. This is keepable. We can drop a Gloomy on 2. I don't love Gloom Hunter on 2, but we're going to do it. Well, we could wait even. I don't know. We have 4 of the 6 needed to kick, but... Nah, let's get going. Just we don't really have a way to get this back or make it bigger that I recall. Well, it's not that... If it looks likely that I can kick this on 6, that's tempting. If I only have like 3 land or 2 land, then I'm so far away from, you know, I have so much has to go right for this to be kicked on 6 that I wouldn't even think about it. But 4 lands already says we probably have 6 on 6 and could kick this on 6. And we have a similar question here, but we haven't found any more land. I'm going to attack with Gloomy. And then we can consider here, I don't have double blue yet for much of anything. I think we have to, well, what are we blocking though? Maybe I wait because I'm not interested in blocking the Blight Blade, and we don't really have anything to do on 4 anyway without an island. So I'm just going to pass. I don't think the Sentinel does anything here if I'm not going to block with it. So it would be about being mana efficient, but I also don't really have anything to do next turn. So heck, we even go Swamp, Bubble Snare unkicked, and still play the Sentinel next turn. No additional land, but something else we can play, and I would be happy to trade Cleric for the Blight Blade, so let's do that. But I'll send Gloomy first. Chat is degenerating, I see. Reverse domination. Well, I'll restart it. See if restarting the old CBL does the trick. Really want an island off the top here. Yeah, island off the top. Thank you for listening. I think we go ahead and Falconer. They're pretty far away from dominating it. Should be working now if it's working at all, because I restarted it. Ouch. Painful, painful. Well, Sentinel technically blocks the Wizard, but now I'm more inclined to just save this to be a 4/5. One thing to note, though, it's a 4/5 that once it hits the battlefield will be a 3 CMC creature for domination, so we want to get Oppo to use domination before we reward them with a 4/5 they can steal for 6 mana. 4/5 flyer. As for this turn, I guess we just sting and pass. I'm not going to bubble snare the Wizard. And I don't have the blue to even consider taking it. If we draw an island, I might have just stolen the Wizard, though. That'd be a fine steal. Re-enables the Gloom Hunter. Forces them to kind of use their domination back. That's true. We could do it, and then if that's a reasonable response, if that's how it plays out. If we have 7 mana before we've used our domination, we can lure them into using theirs only to take it back with ours. But it's possible there's even better lines where we get them to use their domination in an underwhelming way, and we use ours in a superior way, and still get the Sentinel to boot. Which is that? Yeah, I'm on Roost. I think the green inscription is pretty great for green decks. The blue one is solid, but not better than Roost. If you're not kicking the blue one, it's like kind of worse than the kicked divination. Speaking of kicked stuff. Return our Gloom Hunter. Gloom Hunter. Gloom Hunter. Gloom Hunter. Gloom Hunter. Gloom Hunter. That's because they want to steal it, right? They're hoping we kick it and they steal it, but we can steal that back. I think it's because they think they're stealing it, right? I think they have the Lol Mage's domination backup plan. We can't find our 6th land though, so it's not mattering here. I guess Snare the Wizard is okay. The trouble is it has a nice ability, so we snare it, but then it sits there doing its thing the rest of the game in terms of looting. We gotta kick snare the, but we have a. I think it's probably just pass. Well, we could play the Sentinel on 3. I don't think they would steal it though. I'm just gonna pass. Like, I could snare the Wizard to prevent 2 a turn, but I could play the Sentinel to threaten the block. I guess if we still whiff on land, maybe I'll play the Sentinel next turn and give up that ghost. Yeah, that'd be interesting if they're just holding their 3rd island. It seems like they're trying to get us to give them a Gloom Hunter to steal. But maybe we shouldn't offer it until we can find our 3rd island and make sure we can steal it back. All right, now I'm going to snare the Wizard and just cast a Vamp. Yeah, it's all right. I mean, it's good for them, but, like, Into the Royal is always good for them when they manage to kick it, so it is what it is. Really, this is going to come down to managing this ball game, the Domination, Sentinel, Gloom Hunter, their domination situation. I was cackling because Oppo bounced my 1/1 Gloom Hunter with Geyser Mage. Wow, we are getting worked over on land, but we could play this as land, but it's not blue. We need blue before we can do the domination sequencing. But yeah, now with the Diviner, we have to play the Sentinel, and then they probably steal it. We take some damage. We snare we snare the Diviner, and then hopefully find our land. Or we play the Malakir as land, and then we have the Gloom Hunter for sure next time. Huh. Yeah. Yeah, I think we gotta do this. Radiant wanted to hold the rebirth. I say no. I really want to get we at least have the Gloom Hunter if they steal the Sentinel. But I don't know. I suppose if I'm going to play the Mire, now I draw that blue source we need so much, and then I have kicked Sentinel. So what? I don't know. Maybe if I played the Mire, I wasn't supposed to play the Sentinel and just ride out some damage. Trouble is, we can't get into any clever dominate, redominate until we have the island we need as well. That was the idea. Try to offer the Sentinel to be stolen, but I think with the known Gloom Hunter, they're probably going to try and wait on that. Strong. Surprised they wouldn't want to just dominate something and then get back the domination, though. Quick 0-3 with our medium deck. Laughing at us with the swamp. We can snare a diviner, though, as we suggested. It's possible at this point we need to just play the swamp, kick the Gloom Hunter, let him take it, and top deck an island, and that's our plan. I think that's our best hope. If we don't top deck the island, Oppo's gonna be like, what a dummy. But this is ultimately according to plan. We're doing this according to plan. This is the plan. The plan is we do this, they do domination, and we top deck an island and dominate back. Yeah, exactly. I'm just saying sometimes your Oppo does not understand what you're doing, but just because it might look weird, if it's the right play, you still do it. Speaking of, are we offering Vampire? Kind of don't mind getting the Blightblade off of the board with the Rabid Bites around. Yeah. No, I'm gonna say no tax. Too bad to have to steal back our own creature rather than get true 2-for-1 value, but at least we got a plan. I like that we have a plan. It requires some luck too. Our plan requires a top deck, but it's one that we have a good shot at. Ah, oh, thanks, deck. Thanks. Yes, that's very cute. Still not dead. Still have one more turn to find our island. If Oppo doesn't do anything significant. We go to 5, they don't do anything significant. We steal the Gloom Hunter, they drop us to 3, and then we stabilize, question mark? Unlikely, look at their fistful. Yeah, that's gonna do it. I think, I'm gonna hold on to see if we can find an island to at least show Oppo what we were up to, but we are absolutely done for now. But like, and of course, there it is. You gotta love it. Gotta love the humor of the magic gods. Oppo kind of won with the stuff that is exactly what I was telling you all we were going to try and win with this deck, right? Like in their case, replace Rabid Bites with the black removal spells that we had, and Oppo did exactly with Field Research and Into the Royal and Royal Mage and exactly what we were trying to do with our deck in Domination. So, oh well. But we'll show Oppo. See? See, Oppo? We weren't completely crazy. Yeah, I guess there was one more turn, Jinx, but we didn't have it. They were going to steal. There's nothing in the deck that allows us to defeat their re-dominate, I don't think. But I could have played it out, you're right. I don't know, as far as 03s go, I'm not very salty right now. We had a tough draft with weird signals, and we drafted the hard way and found a decent lane. Hindsight showed us some lanes that might have been better, but nothing that I feel like was an obvious and clear drafting mistake. There were some very, very interesting pivotal choices where if we had banked differently, we might have ended up in a better place, but nothing that I can definitively say was like, obviously we should have done that because it's obvious, right? Nothing was obvious to me. We made some tough choices in the draft, ended up with a low synergy, but reasonably powered deck. I did like the spells we had in there. We just didn't draw them in the right order and in the right ratios with our lands, I think. And so, yeah, no, not going to beat myself up. I'm going to try and learn from what I can there. Still had some interesting Magic decisions. That's why we play. Trying to find ways to stay alive and flip this from an 03 was still fun, especially doing it with you also. Thank you. Let's claim this prize. Very wimpy prize, but we will claim it. And say thanks to our YouTube friends for sticking around for that one. I don't like that outcome, but you could like the video anyway, right? You could like my attitude. And help me with that algorithm. Help find some additional friends to join our party here. See ya.